Hey everybody, I'm Shannon Sommerville and welcome to the On Deck podcast presented by LineStar. We've got a lot of games on the slate for today, 16 to be exact, so lots to dive into for your daily fantasy baseball projections. Plus we'll also get into some prop bets and of course our home run calls. Tyler Wiemann will be in to join us in just a moment to talk about those daily fantasy decisions. You're going to want to stay tuned for that. But first things first, we've got a few weather conditions to keep an eye on as you look at this game. A couple might be rained out. The first one, Padres at Guardians. We've got 65 degrees, 54% chance of rain, 13-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. Now, in this game, the story is showers and thunderstorms, delay, postponement, very likely here. Now, this game is not on the main slate for DraftKings and fantasy, but it is something to keep a note of. Rangers at Phillies, 64 degrees, 9% chance of rain, partly cloudy, 10-mile-an-hour winds right to left. Should be okay there. Twins at Orioles, 68 degrees, 4% chance of rain, partly cloudy, 11-mile-an-hour winds right to left. So again, not much of a weather factor there. Angels at Red Sox, we've got 49 degrees, so a little chilly, 0% chance of rain though, partly cloudy, 6-mile-an-hour winds in from right, so not strong enough really to make a difference there. Pirates at Tigers, 54 degrees, 61% chance of rain, 10-mile-an-hour winds to right. This game, another one to keep an eye on because it will likely be delayed, lots of thunderstorms and rain in that area. White Sox at Cubs, some conditions here. Will be a bit of a drizzle, slowly fading this evening in Chicago. They should be able to go. It won't cause any postponements, but it will likely be a little bit wet, maybe some cold with winds that'll be blowing in from left at about 20 miles an hour. Cardinals at Royals, 56 degrees, 0% chance of rain, 6-mile-an-hour winds in from center. Again, not much of a factor here. Nationals at Rockies, we've got 62 degrees, 36% chance of rain at Coors Field, 13-mile-an-hour winds. That direction of wind will be changing throughout the night. So you got kind of a swirly condition there at Coors Field. Slight chance of showers may cause a brief delay, but shouldn't be anything more than that. Rays at A's, 69 degrees, 0% chance of rain, clear skies, 5-mile-an-hour winds to center. Again, not much of a weather factor there. Giants at Dodgers, 64 degrees, 0% chance of rain, and light 6-mile-an-hour winds to center. All right, so that's a look at your weather for today. Obviously, a couple games to kind of keep an eye on. And now we bring in our fantasy expert here today. Tyler Wiemann joins us to talk a little daily projections for baseball. And with all of these games to choose from, is it a lot of riches, or are we looking at kind of a mixed bag of pitchers for today?
There's a lot of good pitchers on the slate. A lot of interesting choices you can make for who to play today.
So let's take a look at some of these pitchers in our highest owned for the Chalk Report. Brewers' Brandon Woodruff going up against the Reds, a 5.30 ERA this season. Last time out, 4 runs in 4 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts. I think the biggest thing here, though, is like your grandma always says, we love to play the Reds because they are so anemic at the plate, and she is right.
Shout out to grandma. Like you said, he has a 5.3 ERA to start the year. However, he only has a 2.65 FIP, which means he's probably getting pretty unlucky. Mm-hmm. Also, over the last 20 starts, he has a 3.1 FIP. So he's been a similar pitcher, probably just variance isn't going his way right now. He's a great pitcher. Cincinnati is bad, 29th in WRC plus. They're striking out 24% of the time. They have a super low 2.9 implied total today. The only bad thing I can really find is that it's a pitcher-friendly park. Woodruff is allowing a lot of fly balls. Great American Small Park likes to allow some home runs. The other thing is the combined K rate is kind of low at only 22%. So,
were you surprised to see Woodruff this high owned today, or was this kind of something that was expected?
This high owned is very surprising, I would say, on an 11-game slate. Well, maybe a 10-game slate with one possible rain out. Yeah. There's a lot of pitchers to choose from, but he is probably a little too cheap for the pitcher that he's been.
All right, so maybe a good pick there. Dodgers lefty Julio Urias going up against the Giants, 2.5 ERA. So he's been pretty consistent. Now he did have that shaky first start at Coors Field, but hey, we chalk it off to, hey, that's Coors Field. Let's move on. Since then, he's been extremely reliable, hasn't given up more than 1 run in any starts. So what do you see from him today when he goes up against the Giants?
Now, he's in like the opposite situation that Woodruff is. His ERA is really low, but his FIP is mid-4s. I think it's 4.4.
So he's been getting lucky.
So he might be getting a little lucky. However, over the last 20 starts, his FIP is like 3.10, same as Woodruff. So his FIP likely does come down a little bit, but he probably has been getting a little lucky. The one thing to note is he has a really low 18% combined K rate tonight. So the upside might not be there. And I did look at his strikeout line, and it's only 4.5. Just to put that into perspective, Bruce Zimmerman, who is almost half his Urias salary, also has a 4.5 strikeout line.
So maybe not the best value for the day.
Exactly.
And if so many people have him, what's the point?
Totally. And versus lefties, Giants have been whatever, but they don't strike out much. So the other thing to note is Urias is maxed out at 81 pitches. So like other guys in his price range, those guys are seeing upwards of 90, 100 pitches, and not Julio.
All right, so we are not going to take a chance on him today. Sorry, maybe next time. Twins righty Joe Ryan, though. I like him. Going up against the Orioles, 1.17 ERA. Yeah, that's tied for third best in baseball. He hasn't given up a run in his last 3 starts. Last time out, racked up 9 strikeouts against the Tigers. Man, this Twins rookie just been phenomenal. And he's going up against a team that has a pretty high strikeout rate.
He's in a great spot. One thing I would like to note, though, with his ERA is that he has left like 96% of batters on base. So his ERA probably is going to come up like.
So he's gotten out of some jams.
Yeah, that rate's probably a little unsustainable, but he's been great. 2.95 FIP. He has a 30% K rate. Baltimore versus righties striking out at 24.7% of the time, and they're 21st in WRC+, so they're really not a scary offense. Baltimore has a low 3.1 implied total. The only downside is really like Woodruff, Ryan is letting a ton of fly balls happen. Now, with this stadium, I'm not as worried about that. Baltimore used to be a good home run friendly field.
Right.
This year, they're not. They significantly moved the fences back.
Yep.
So I'm really not too worried about those fly balls.
All right. So some good options to choose from there. I guess more between Woodruff and Ryan for your high-owned guys for today. But let's take a look at maybe some value plays on the pitching side. Giants lefty Carlos Rodon going up against the Dodgers. Not a guy you'd think you'd find on low-owned.
No.
1.17 ERA. Tied with our boy Ryan as third best. ERA in baseball, has not allowed more than 1 run in any of his starts. And in his first game, don't you remember when he racked up 12 strikeouts? Oh, my goodness.
He's been absolutely crushing it.
So against the Dodgers, how do you see this matchup playing out?
So you see the Dodgers, and you instantly think this is a super scary matchup. But versus lefties, it's not. You
really?
know, Urias is he's going to be really high-owned because it's against the Giants.
Okay.
But both teams are right around the same area versus lefties. 18th to 20th. Like Dodgers are 18th to 20th in most of the advanced stats. The combined K rate today is 32%. Rodon has been averaging 30 DraftKings points a start or 50 FanDuel points a start. He's been absolutely crushing it. Like you said, he has a super low ERA. And then he has an even lower FIP. It's 0.95. So by far, I would say Rodon has the most upside on the slate.
Awesome. So some great value there with Carlos Rodon. Let's take a look at Blue Jays righty Alek Manoah versus the Yankees. Been solid this season, 1.44 ERA against the Yankees, who are looking for their 11th straight win, might I add. But I'm a little scared of him as a Yankees fan. He's just been stellar against the Bronx Bombers.
You know, I picked on Jordan Montgomery yesterday to troll you.
And you hit your prop.
And I hit my prop. and I'm going back to troll you a little bit with Manoah. He's been great. 1.44 ERA, 3.08 FIP, and 52 Yankees plate attempts versus Manoah. They're hitting 0.83 as far as an average, and their WOBA is 0.125. They simply have not been able to hit him.
Yeah.
So
Blue Jays are favored to win this one.
For all those reasons, I'm in on
Just
Manoah.
because of him.
The one thing, though, I do want to point out is the Yankees have been great lately. Like you said,
they have
11 straight or something like that. And they're averaging 8 runs over the last 8 games. So 8 runs a game for the last 8. So they've been on fire. Toronto was able to hold them in check a little bit yesterday. I think they should be able to again today.
As much as I hate to admit it, I think you're right.
We're
not going to clip that off, though.
Oh, we're clipping that one.
Clipping that one to save it to the files.
Yep.
I think you're right. Okay. Sometimes things happen that are very odd anomalies in
it hurts
life.
Sometimes. I had to go against the Padres a few times. It happens. It's just being
life.
Unbiased.
I know.
We
try to be at least.
We have to give the real view.
All right, let's take a look now and give the real view about Orioles lefty Bruce Zimmerman going up against the Twins. Now, he's only allowed 2 earned runs this season. Twins do, though, have the 6th highest strikeout rate in baseball. So is this a favorable matchup for him?
It's a decent matchup, and it's more so price here.
Okay.
On DraftKings, he's 6,100. On FanDuel, I'm probably not playing him just because the upside isn't there on a one-pitcher site. But he's been great. He's super cheap. He is striking out almost a batter an inning. His ERA is 0.93. His FIP is 2.5. He's striking out 25% of batters. The Twins have been decent, 12. They're like 12th in WRC plus, but they are striking out almost 25% of the time. And really, it's just a situation where I think he's probably priced too low. Nobody's there. I'm willing to take some shots to be able to pay up for some bats.
So yeah, this is one of those risk reward type of
it is
here.
It is
fading everybody else, and we're just going in on the lefty.
That's why I kind of said 3 here in the low on pitcher stacks, because low on pitchers. Zimmerman is a risky one, but I kind of wanted to bring him up, so I had to drop him in there.
Yeah, a little risk reward for you on this Tuesday. Now let's take a look at some high owned stacks. So if you're maybe playing against those pitchers, we'll see how we can find some value. But first, the high-owned guys for today. It's going to be a lot of Nationals bats going up against Rockies righty German Marquez, who has a 5.57 ERA last time out at Citizens Bank Park against the Phillies. Gave up 4 earned runs in just 3 2/3, just 1 strikeout. And the Nats are top 10 in average. They're a good offense. So at Coors Field, might be a long, short night for Marquez.
Yes, it could be. But, with those numbers, though, it is kind of hard, too, because he has faced Phillies twice, the Cubs, who hit righties really well, and the Dodgers.
Sure.
So he's had some of the better offenses in the league, and he's actually facing a worse one now than what he's faced, which he hasn't done great, so it doesn't mean that much. But on his career, he's only averaging 1.2 home runs per 9 and 64 plate attempts. The Rockies are only hitting .211 against him with a 123 ISO. But we are in Coors Field, has by far the highest run total in the game. And then also Washington batters just didn't get the normal Coors price bump that they usually do. So they're going to be very popular. I could see going either way on this one.
But interesting that you mentioned that about Marquez, is sometimes you got to look at the opponents he's faced and maybe give him a little break on some of that. Because there are really good offenses. It's not like he's playing the Reds like your grandma would have,
Yeah, I don't think he's as bad as his numbers have shown so far this year. So it's not by no means would I be guaranteeing a Washington stack.
All right. Well, are you guaranteeing a Rockies stack in this one going up against Nationals righty Eric Fetty, who's the Rockies have the best batting average in baseball right now, and even their slugging percent is higher than the Yankees. They've Fetty's given up at least 2 runs per game. Against the D-backs lasted just 3 1/3, 6 earned runs. Yeah, against the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, he hasn't been good.
Is that why people are flocking to some Rockies bats
It is
today?
for sure. Now, the Rockies are expensive versus Washington being non-expensive. But both of these offense are pretty similar. They're both 17th, 18th-ish versus righties, which both the pitchers are righties. Of the two, I'd rather stack the Rockies. They're a little less owned. I think they're a little bit better. They're in a little bit better of a spot. Super small sample size, but Colorado's hitting 500 against Fetty. It's only 22 plate attempts, but it's
enough for us to
it's a significant
make some moves
number
on this one.
It's a significant number. 22 plate attempts and hitting 500 is not good, especially when Fetty just got blown up by Arizona.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move along to some lower owned stacks. Maybe some places we can find some value plays. And I'm looking at the Angels going up against Red Sox righty Michael Wacha, who has a 1.77 ERA. Been pretty good last time against Toronto. 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts, and 6 innings pitched. What are you seeing that you like about this matchup?
So there's a few things. One, the Angels have been great lately. They've been hot.
Yep.
Wacha does have a 1.77 ERA, but his FIP is 4.
Okay.
So he's probably getting a little lucky. He's also only averaging 0.9 home runs per 9 right now. But over the last 2 years, he's been pretty close to 2 home runs per 9.
Okay.
So
maybe see...
I would say
start
some
to
regression
trend towards the mean
up towards 2. Yeah. And then the Angels have 5 guys with over a 200 ISO versus righties, and the Angels are 3rd in WRC plus versus righties. So it's really a thing where I think Wacha's pitching over his head to start the year, and Angels hit righties really well. So
yeah, they have the most runs of any team this year. Didn't realize that about the Angels, but
when you have Ward, Trout, Ohtani, Rodon, Walsh, like they have a lot of good hitters.
All right, so maybe put Shohei in the lineup, right? Showtime. Is it showtime?
Yep. Hopefully he plays today.
Yeah.
He's questionable, has his groin injury, so we'll see if he plays.
Right.
He did have a pinch hit yesterday, though.
All right, so maybe
he can't be too hurt.
Him.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look now at Toronto going up against Yankees, Jameson Taillon. Now, Taillon doesn't go that deep into games. What do you like about the Blue Jays matchup today?
He also hasn't been very good against Toronto. In 24 innings versus Toronto, he's given up 5 home runs and he has a 4.88 ERA.
Okay.
Now, in our BVP data, which is just covering the last 3 years with who's going to be in the lineup, in 49 plate attempts, Toronto's hitting 267 against him with 3 home runs and a 244 ISO. So they've hit him hard in the past. Versus righties, Toronto's 11th with WRC plus. They're 3rd in slugging, 5th in ISO.
Okay, but can I give you a counter argument?
You can. I want to hear it.
Of course you're going to hear it. Well, he's not going to last that long, right? 5 innings?
Yep.
You sure you want that Yankees bullpen smoke? They're pretty good.
They are pretty good.
All right.
They are pretty good, but Toronto
I know.
can
They're
hit
bad.
anybody.
When you talk about
Toronto can hit anybody.
All you have to say to come back at me is Vladdy Guerrero. Okay.
Vladdy Daddy.
All right. So are there some other teams that you're looking at for today's slate?
There are some other kind of lower owned stacks that I like. Seattle, the White Sox, Milwaukee, Minnesota. Minnesota kind of goes against one of my pitchers that I kind of like, but he's in a Zimmerman has been good this year, but previous he hasn't been quite the same guy.
All right. So maybe some places to find some value. As always, if you want to optimize your lineup or get some more stats to help you make those tough decisions for your lineup, you can go to linestarapp.com or download the LineStar app to get all of your information. Make some smart decisions today, people. All right. Speaking of smart decisions, it is time for our home run calls. Quite simply, who's going yard today? Yesterday, you kind of called it. You said, listen, I don't love today in terms of home runs. And sure enough, No, there wasn't a lot going on yesterday.
There really weren't a lot of home runs. Real low scoring. Today could be kind of low scoring, too. A lot of the totals are low.
Well, where are you going with your home run pick, though? Because we have to. We're contractually obligated to pick somebody.
I'm going with the Angels and Mike Trout versus Walker.
Well, you can't go wrong there.
Walker's given up a 220 ISO, and 5% of his plate attempts go for a home run versus righties. And Trout crushes righties. Did I say Trout? He crushes righties. 397 ISO. He crushes
the ball like some sauerkraut.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. That's the dad jokes you get here at On Deck Podcast.
I'll be here all night, folks.
And he is hitting 9%, almost 9% of his plate attempts are a home run off a righty. So I'm going Trout.
Trout, going yard. Mm-hmm. I'm going Juan Soto. Lefty bat going up against a righty in Marquez at Coors Field. He's 3 for 8 against him, including a home run. Yes, I know it's a small sample size, but you know I always love when you have that confidence in the batter's box. Yeah. I know this from personal experience in Little League. When you own somebody, you just feel a little extra confidence. But maybe I don't have the big league experience of that, but I do love Juan Soto today. He's 3 of his 4 home runs this season also have come against righties. His slugging percentage is nearly 250 points higher against righties. So I love his chances today at the hitter-friendly Coors Field. And now we're going to move along to some prop bets for today. Now, yesterday, you were trolling me a little bit with your Jordan Montgomery pick, but that in fact hit. My pick did not. Oh man, I had a bad beat yesterday with Aaron Judge for over 1.5 bases. And in fact, I said earlier in the show, I was thinking about going with Alex Bregman over 1.5 bases. And sure enough, he delivers. He did deliver. Serves me right for being a homer and picking my Yankees. Today, though, different story. Yeah. Why don't you go first? Tell me who you're going with. Because I feel like it's going to be a pitcher prop and you're going to continue this story.
I am absolutely continuing going with pitchers, and I am picking on the Dodgers. Carlos Rodon over 7.5 Ks. The Dodgers combined K rate 32%. Rodon has hit the 7.5 mark in every single start this year, and I think he continues today.
You're on quite a hot streak now. Can you continue? Well. You're doing really well. All right, well, since the hitter prop didn't hit for me yesterday, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to take a page out of your playbook and go with a pitcher. And I'm going Joe Ryan over 6.5 strikeouts. That's at plus 115. The Twins rookie has just been absolutely on fire. Lights out, 1.17 ERA, tied for third best in baseball. Hasn't given up a run in his last 3 starts. Last time out, racked up 9 strikeouts against the Tigers. And so he's averaging about a strikeout an inning. So if he goes 7 innings like he did last time, he should hit that. Now, that's all taking into consideration everything before you take into account that he's facing the Orioles today, a team that has the highest strikeout rate in baseball. Give me Joe Ryan, the rookie, over 6.5 strikeouts. You like that pick?
I love it.
We're going pitchers today.
I looked at Ryan. I almost went there.
All right. So we got some pitcher props. It's for you today. You know, we were talking earlier a little bit about how we feel like the books are sort of adjusting now with all their data. So it's getting a little harder to come up with these good props every day.
But we have more data. We have more data too, which is good.
True. So we're just trying to make, the best calls. Right now I'm going to just switch up my strategy though and go pitchers. We'll see how it works out for me. I'm feeling confident though. Joe Ryan.
You've been doing fine. You had 7
I know,
straight.
I had one wrong.
Yeah. She loses once when she's...
I'm hard on myself. We have to be the best. Perfection or nothing. All right. Yeah. So for more perfection, if you want to upgrade your lineup, if you want to get more stats, learn how we all kind of make our prop bets, we just go to the LineStar app. There's all the data that you need just right there at your fingertips. You can go to linestarapp.com. Or just follow us on Twitter. We'll give you some free tips on there as well. And you can follow us for that home run call. Make sure to retweet us for a chance to win some prizes. I'm just rattling off promos right now.
I know.
All right.
I love
it.
If
you're watching us on YouTube, though, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Comment on how great all my jokes are. Love that. Or how bad his dancing is from yesterday.
Oh, come on. My dancing's the best.
All right. That'll be it for us today. We'll see you tomorrow. Best of luck to you today.
Have a good one. Bye.